Hi everybody, this is Karen Koger and I'm doing the Urban Music Experience. And what I'm talking about today on this segment is the urban curriculum and also the community, bringing all the things you've taught in your curriculum to the community around you. I have to keep this one a little bit short because I went really long on my administrative one, and then I was kind of short. No, I was a little long on that one too. So anyhow, you probably don't care. Um, so we're going to talk about differences in the urban curriculum. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't teach a different curriculum for urban students in based on our definition of urban music experience. My definition is low socioeconomic, high density population music education with underserved or underserved schools or Title I schools with the majority of free and reduced lunches. I do not teach a different curriculum because these kids get it just as fast and just as thoroughly as the suburban or your other communities. So when I look at curriculum for these children, usually what I have to do is I have to alter it because some students have no prior knowledge and some have a bunch of knowledge. And so you'll have really high kids with really low kids, and you have to make it work. So usually what I do is I build up from the low to the high. Sometimes that can drive your high kids crazy. I know that some teachers will, during the class, give something that everyone can do, something that most of them can do, and something that not many of them can do, so that each child is fed with their knowledge, with their prior knowledge that they bring to you. Sometimes the kids have been taught all rote and you want to teach reading. Sometimes they only do I play, you play, and you get it right and you feel good because you get to play music. Sometimes they've had a fabulous general music teacher that gave them all the knowledge about the fundamentals, and all you have to do is figure out how to speak in the same language. As far as how I give curriculum during the lesson, it's smaller chunks. I might only cover 2 concepts in one class. My brain is such that I want to give them what they need to play the music, and so we might cover a bunch of concepts and maybe focus just on one and go a little more in depth with that one. And I know there are a lot of different opinions about only one concept. Give your due, teach it all about that concept, finish it out with a conclusion, and man, those kids are going to have that concept. Problem is, for me with music, I don't like that. It doesn't work for me because I think they can do more than that, and that's just my pushy behavior. So you want to kind of bring up those kids that are behind and get those fundamentals in their brains. I also want them to have vocabulary, because if they have the music vocabulary, they can talk to any other musician and sound like they know what they're doing. And a lot of times they do, and it's fabulous. I never sell them short because they do such beautiful things, and sometimes it might go a little bit slower, but not by much. I give them the same music, the same choices, and then because I'm in I might have students that are diverse, I will try and pull things from their heritage so that they get something special in at least one of the concerts. I give them incentives. These kids need incentives to do it. They have to be paid somehow. And whether it's stickers, check marks, karate belts, certificates, tangible rewards, I think we need to do it for these children. For some reason, just getting it right or performing it and making it sound beautiful doesn't seem to be enough. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't get that one. Celebrate like crazy when the class gets it right. Almost fall on the floor because they just love it when you go overboard. And you can't do it all the time. You know that. My belief is high standards, high expectations. Every child in the classroom. And I want them to keep up, and I want them to do their best. And some days in urban settings, they're too tired, they're too hungry, something happened in their life that you know nothing about, parents split, who knows. These are all things that happen in all schools, but in urban it seems to be daily. And so you can't assume that because the little girl in the corner is like bopping off and calling out and being all goofy, that's because she's trying to be mean to you or to the class. Sometimes it's just because she had a really rough night and she can't stand to just sit and be quiet. And sometimes you just have to check to see if they're okay, or if they need anything, or if they need to talk to a counselor. It's amazing. You have to be empathetic, and you have to be patient, and you have to realize that for them, life happens more often than it may have happened for you. Or it might be that real life drama, mom may have multiple boyfriends or husbands, or may have children from different fathers or mothers, and it's mixed up, and these kids are trying to make sense of it. So to have some patience and some empathy and some compassion helps them to know that even though they've got all this junk going on in their lives, that here's a place where they can be safe and enjoy and get lost in the music and just have success. It's so wonderful and it's so safe. I'm told often that our music rooms are the most fun, their favorite rooms, because they're with all their friends that are doing the same thing they are, and they just love being with you and with their friends and making music. Keep that in mind, because that's so important. I always, because some of my kids don't have instruments at home, most of them don't, we always have like a warm-up time where they get to practice what they want. And then during the middle of the class, I'll have a 1 to 3 minute time where they can work out a concept or work on a hard passage 3 to 5 times for a minute to a minute and a half. They just love that because that calms them down, it seems. And it gives them time to process, or it gives them time to, attack the next problem or the next piece of music. Basically, this is what I do. If you don't have a curriculum in your school district, write one. Make something that says, I'm going to get through all this vocabulary. I'm going to get through all these bow styles. I'm going to make sure that I'm sticking with my federal standards. You can do it. It may not be as thorough as you do with your high achieving or suburban classes, but man, they're going to be aiming for it and doing their best for you. It's going to be a fun ride. All right, after you have all this curriculum and music learned, we have to take it to the community. This is one of my favorite areas of discussion. I have to find it because I want to make sure I get it all right. In Arizona, when I taught in Mesa, I had this one school where the community backed me so much that kids would be sent to our school because we had orchestra. I had at that school, the house would be full. All the families would come in to hear their little concerts. For Veterans Day, the students would learn all the service tunes in 6th grade so they could play and honor their uncles and their grandparents and their parents that are in the service or have been in the service. That was a very special moment for me. And the veterans were so thankful that we took the time to celebrate them. And it was a wonderful sharing. Another thing that we had at our school, we had 2 or 3 churches that would give generously to our school. They would, at Christmas time, they would do you were supposed to, what was it called? Make a wish, or like the teachers, each teacher got to do a wish list. There it is, a wish list of anything they could think of, even expensive things, even cheap things, anything that would help those kids learn. And those churches would come in with boxes of stuff for us that would just be like Christmas for the teachers. It was lovely. Another thing that a bunch of a church did, all the men of the church, the kids didn't have an instrument to take home at this one school. So I thought, well, maybe if we made a fake instrument, like a fingerboard, where we put the tapes on so the kids could practice, and it was approximately the right depth. And the gentleman decided that it would be cool if it had a body So I went to my district art teachers and I said, could could you make it a project for your students or your people to put a body, a violin body, on these fake fingerboards for the students that couldn't practice if they didn't have something at home? And I named every single one of those stupid fake instruments. It turned out that it was just enough different and enough wonky that the kids didn't really like it, but I used them when they forgot their instruments at school, and the kids had to still finger along on those fake things that they didn't like very well. And oh my goodness, most of my kids remembered their instruments every week because they didn't want to use one of those wonky fake instruments. It was kind of fun. But how thankful I was that the community was willing to support my program and do something special for me and my students. Another thing that was beautiful for my kids at my urban school, the church would bring in enough cookies for everybody to have maybe two, and punch of some kind or juice. And at every single performance, they came trucking in and had set up their table for the reception afterwards for my concerts. I didn't have to do anything for those receptions except for say thank you. And all the kids learned to be thankful and to say, that they appreciated that these people took the time to bring us cookies for our concerts. There are so many other examples that I could give you about the community. Another thing was they might donate instruments. And we got some instruments from the community. Sometimes I just had to part them out because they were a bit nasty. But we had parts then for those instruments when the kids would break off the pegs or munch the whatever, all those things that happen. I don't want to go through it. Another thing that the volunteers would do sometimes, they would come into my classroom. We had the most wonderful, it was the, oh goodness, what do you call them? When you're showing technique, like the beginners had learned how to hold their instruments, so we showed that. The beginners learned D, E, and F sharp, so we showed them simple ones about that. I can't remember what they're called. Sorry. But anyhow, then all the parents were in my room, and we would only do one class at a time. And each parent brought 6 cookies to share, and if they couldn't bring them, it was okay if they couldn't afford it. And some parents brought juice or napkins or whatever. And then the parents volunteered to serve the cookies and the punch to the students and the other parents. And during that time, I always made sure that the parents and the families got served first by the children, because we wanted to show appreciation that they'd come out to help us. Let's see. Sometimes you have a string player in your community that can come in and share their talents with your kids. A mariachi friend, all of her people in the mariachi group, it's called Mariachi Pasión, were all women. And that was so strange for mariachi because mariachi is traditionally men. And these ladies played. It was so nice. And they volunteered to come over to my school and play mariachi for a concert for the school. Another woman that was one of the teachers, she was one of my parents in one of my schools. She was a dancer at Arizona State University. And at all of our celebrations for the school, she would bring her dancers in so we could see multicultural and through dance and music. It was so beautiful. So just by talking and networking and inviting them in, make sure you kind of vet them, but invite them in to help you and help your kids have such a wealth and a rich program that then I offered to go to their church and take 10 kids, and we would play for their little luncheon, or we would go to a nursing home, and those people just adore having us come over. But wait a minute, what about your administrators? You can take your kids to the administrators' building and play for them. It's a lot closer, and they get to show off what their children are doing in their district. What else have I done? Oh my goodness. We did a fundraiser for, I think, it wasn't Haiti, but one of the islands got flooded badly. And one of the girls said, Miss Koger, could we please do a fundraiser for them? And so we did a fundraiser, and we earned about $1,100 for those people in that island to maybe have some help and we decided to give it to the Red Cross. And the Red Cross, we called them, we said, we have $1,100. We want to present it to you at the concert. We're so excited that these kids have taken on this challenge. And the Red Cross wasn't as excited as we were. But I told the kids that I would take it over to them, or someone from the school would take it, and that they would get the money. So it's amazing bringing your community into your program. And we have a gift to give back. And it's such a wealthy gift. Where these kids are trying their best and they want to share this beautiful music that you've been able to inspire from them. Please, 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 for those urban districts, take them to the library. For the with Pro Musica Chamber Orchestra, we go over for the pre-K. They have a library day for the pre-K kiddos. And we go in there and we accompany Mary Had a Little Lamb and the Wheels on the Bus and read a story and put sound effects to it. Oh, the kids just love it. And the parents are so appreciative that the kids from the nearby school came over to give something to their children and to them. Okay, you see where I'm coming from. The Urban has so much to give. It has a lot of benefits. There are grants out the wazoo for Title I, for Urban, for students of diverse populations. If you're a good grant writer, or if in your school district you have a grant writer and you just need to provide them information, use that resource. Use that money to help you make it better for the kids and for you. Okay, I'm excited to talk to you and find out all of your ideas, because these are just my ideas that I've accumulated over the few years I've taught. And I'd love to talk to you at the Q&A session. Again, I'm Karen Koger, and I'm a cellist and a teacher. I also am the composer, publisher, and distributor for String Riffs music, which has multi-level stuff where you have open strings, basic sometimes, a challenge part for those go-getters, and then the tune and a piano part. I've just redone, Volume 1 again, and every single piece is going to have 3 parts so that you can really serve your kids the best you can. And when you teach those, teach from the bottom, teach the basic parts so those kids know what they're doing and move up into the more advanced parts. I've had so much fun sharing the little bit of knowledge as I know. You guys are smarter than me, and I can't wait to learn from you in the Q&A. Thank you very much for taking the time, and hope to see you soon. Bye.